They call it a messenger of doom, a silver ribbon gliding through the ocean depths, rumored to foretell catastrophic events every time it appears. Is there any truth to the legend that when the oarfish shows up, disasters follow? For centuries, beachgoers in Japan and beyond have spun terrifying tales of this serpent-like giant emerging just before earthquakes, tsunamis, and other calamities. But is it a genuine warning from the gods? Or are we just projecting our fears onto one of the most mysterious sea creatures ever discovered? Let's dive into the world of the oarfish, a deep-sea riddle wrapped in shimmering silver, crowned with crimson fins, and surrounded by enough folklore to spark panic every time one washes ashore. By the end, you'll see why these sightings, whether eerie coincidence or nature's subtle alarm, are capturing attention around the globe. Ancient lore in Japan claims the oarfish is a harbinger of doom, sent from the palace of the sea god to warn humankind of impending disaster. Long ago, fishermen told stories of spotting these spectral ribbons in the tide, only to face monstrous storms or earthquakes days later. The myth persists. If the oarfish appears, trouble isn't far behind. This belief isn't exclusive to Japan, though. It echoes in other cultures that also speak of serpent-like sea creatures and monstrous omens lurking beneath the waves. The combination of rarity and dramatic appearances feeds these tales. When a massive, silver, dragon-like being with a scarlet crest slides onto the shore, it immediately attracts curiosity and fear. For centuries, little was known about the fish itself, leaving imagination as the only way to fill the gaps. People saw something otherworldly and concluded that it must carry a message, one we ignore at our own peril. But how did these myths become so potent? Perhaps it's the sudden and unusual circumstances of each sighting. The oarfish almost never shows itself to living eyes until it's near the end of its life, drifting onto beaches in a morbid and magical spectacle. To coastal communities that rely on the sea, this arrival, abrupt, silent, and inevitably followed by the fish's death, seemed like a cry from an unseen realm. Over centuries, that cry transformed into a prophecy of doom. Despite the haunting legends, the first real shock is discovering just how enormous these fish can be. On average, a mature oarfish spans about 8 meters, but it can grow far beyond that. Verified sightings have recorded lengths up to 11 meters, about the size of 3 great white sharks lined up nose to tail. Even more astonishing are the unconfirmed reports of 17-meter giants, which would dwarf many of the ocean's most famous predators. If we imagine teaching an oarfish to stand on its tail, it might tower over a giraffe. Its slender form belies its true mass. At up to 300 kilograms, an adult oarfish weighs about as much as a polar bear. Picture a narrow, shimmering ribbon of flesh, longer than a bus and heavier than a person, drifting through the current. It's no wonder these creatures captured human imagination so vividly. Who wouldn't be unsettled by a seemingly endless silver coil surfacing without warning? Its appearance is as unusual as its proportions. The body is often described as sword or ribbon-like, with a long crimson dorsal fin that runs almost the entire length. This fin can have over 400 rays, creating a remarkable undulating silhouette in the water. Atop the head sits a strange, spiky crest, like a stylish crown that earned the fish its regal nickname, the King of Herrings. When you add in the reflective silver sheen of the skin, you get a creature that barely seems real, part myth, part marvel. One reason we know so little about the oarfish is its reclusive lifestyle. Dwelling in depths of up to 1,000 meters, it goes about its quiet existence far below the hustle of the surface world. With weak muscles and no swim bladder, it drifts gracefully, sometimes vertically, through the perpetual twilight of the deep sea. Its narrow jaw is adapted for munching on krill and plankton, so it rarely bothers with larger prey, and definitely doesn't care about chasing humans. But a few rumors suggest it might deliver an electric jolt if touched, fueling some of the ominous stories around it. Even scientists who've studied them up close aren't entirely certain how strong this shock might be, or whether it's consistent across different specimens. Such scattered anecdotes only heighten the sense of mystery. The less we know, the more our imaginations fill in the blanks. When the oarfish does appear at the surface, it's typically not by choice. Storms, pollution, temperature fluctuations, and seismic shifts can weaken or disorient them, prompting them to drift upward. By then, they're often sick or near death, making a tragic spectacle when they wash up. Because of how rarely it happens, each new sighting sets off alarms, both literal and figurative, on beaches worldwide. Modern technology and social media amplify this phenomenon. Nowadays, if someone stumbles upon a giant sea serpent, the entire internet finds out within hours. The most famous recent connection between oarfish and cataclysm happened in Japan. In 2009, the number of reported oarfish sightings rose sharply. Some brushed it off as mere coincidence, but others whispered that it was a dire warning from the deep. Then, in 2011, a devastating earthquake and tsunami struck. Though scientists see no direct causal link, believers of the old legend pointed to this as proof that the oarfish prophecy had come true. Flash forward to 2024, and a trio of these deep-sea titans is found washed ashore in California, a region crisscrossed by the volatile San Andreas Fault. Given that California lies along the Ring of Fire, home to around 90% of the world's earthquakes, it's little wonder that superstitions flared up again. Online theories ran wild. Were these oarfish heralding the big one? Were they fleeing from some hidden cataclysm brewing in the ocean floor? Scientists, of course, remind us that correlation doesn't equal causation. Oarfish are extremely sensitive to changes in their environment, whether caused by pollution, temperature, or undersea tremors. When strange forces swirl around the ocean floor, weaker or older oarfish could easily be pushed into shallower waters. But does that mean every stranding is a coded warning of a huge quake? Likely not. Yet the legend persists, because every once in a while nature lines up coincidences that are impossible to ignore. In recent decades, technology has revealed glimpses of live oarfish in their natural domain. Submarines and remotely operated vehicles have recorded them swimming in a vertical posture, a behavior that might help them camouflage or feed more efficiently. Their movement is hypnotic, with the dorsal fin rippling in gentle waves, almost like a ribbon dancing with the current. Genetic studies place the oarfish in the order Lampriformes, related to peculiar species like ribbonfish, crestfish, and even the bizarre sunfish, Mola mola. Despite their intimidating size and association with doom, oarfish share the relaxed, slow-moving lifestyle of sunfish, preferring small prey and drifting at their own deliberate pace. They pose no threat to humans, and mostly, they couldn't care less about us. So why do we seem to be hearing about oarfish wash-ups more than ever before? The simplest explanation is our interconnected world. Almost everyone carries a camera phone, and photos or videos of unusual occurrences can go viral in hours. Instead of these sightings remaining local curiosities, they become global news. In the past, an oarfish might have beached itself in relative obscurity. Today, a single snapshot can make headlines, sparking a frenzy of doomsday theories overnight. And so we come full circle, from prophecies of doom in ancient folklore to the measured lens of modern science. Are oarfish truly messengers of apocalyptic events, or are they simply deep-sea wanderers who occasionally lose their way? In truth, they're both more ordinary and more miraculous than we first believed. Ordinary in their gentle diet and unthreatening demeanor, yet miraculous in their breathtaking size and ghostly, otherworldly appearance. What if the real warning the oarfish brings isn't about earthquakes, but about our own responsibility? Every time one surfaces, it signals changes in the water. Changes that might be part of bigger issues like climate change, pollution, and resource depletion. Ignoring that hint could be a bigger mistake than indulging in superstition. The oarfish calls on us to look deeper, to remember that the ocean is a vast yet fragile realm we're still struggling to understand. So, the next time a camera captures this immense silver ribbon in shallow waters, think of it not just as a mythical portent, but as a living bridge between our legends and the truth that lurks beneath the surface. If you ever happen to witness one in person, an extraordinary stroke of luck, remember that your photos or videos might help decode some of our ocean's greatest mysteries. In the end, the real doom might be our failure to pay attention. What do you think? Do oarfish really predict disasters, or are they just victims of the rumors we've woven around them? Let us know your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into some of the ocean's most enigmatic residents. There's always a new secret waiting to be unearthed in Earth's final frontier. So stay curious, stay watchful, and we'll see you in the next episode.